In the history of publishing, only 6 writers have reached the top of the New York Times bestseller list in both fiction and nonfiction. Hemingway and Steinbeck, William Styron and Irving Wallace, Dr. Seuss and Jimmy Buffett. That's right, Jimmy Buffett. He joined the literary pantheon this summer with the publication of his memoir, A Pirate Looks at 50. Who is Jimmy Buffett? For the uninitiated, he's a writer, singer, performer, and although he hasn't had a top 10 hit since the Carter administration, still one of the biggest concert draws in the country. But don't let his persona as the poster boy for midlife crisis fool you. As we first reported last year, Jimmy Buffett is the mogul of Margaritaville. He's 50 years old, a little round in the middle and a little thin on top, an unlikely music star. But watch him perform his signature song, Margaritaville, before a crowd of more than 20,000 like this one, and you could mistake Jimmy Buffett for the leader of some strange tropical cult. They call themselves parrot heads and dress in bizarre ceremonial garb. They know all the hymns by heart. Some people claim that there's a Their sacramental drink is tequila, Cointreau, and lime juice with a little salt around the rim of the glass. And they wait for Buffett to transport them to a mythical tropical paradise called Margaritaville.
It's been wonderful for me, and I feel so privileged to have fans that are that loyal. But on some days, I want to go to them, get a life, you know? It's just made up, you know?
Margaritaville may just be a state of mind, but Jimmy Buffett has transformed it into an industry. There are the restaurants in Key West and New Orleans. There's also Margaritaville shops and a $10 million a year mail order business selling everything from T-shirts and margarita glasses to calendars and clocks. Combine that with the concerts and the albums that still go platinum, and you begin to understand why Forbes magazine 2 years ago put Buffett's earnings at $26 million, ranking him between Tom Clancy and Robin Williams in show business income. Beneath the shorts and the T-shirts and flip-flops beats the heart of anything but a beach bum. I mean, you're a workaholic, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But God, I know so many people that hate their jobs, and I love my job. I really do, and it gets more exciting every day.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes it's hard to tell just what Jimmy Buffett's job is. When we first caught up with him last winter, he was about as far away from Margaritaville as you can get, in a drab rehearsal hall off Times Square, auditioning cast members for his new musical. His collaborator is one of the literary lions of the 20th century, Herman Wouk, the Pulitzer Prize-winning author of The Winds of War, Marjorie Morningstar, and The Caine Mutiny.
Each song has its own file.
5 years ago, Jimmy Buffett approached Wouk about buying the rights to his 1965 novel about the Caribbean, Don't Stop the Carnival, which has a typical Buffett theme. It's the story of Norman Paperman, a middle-aged Broadway press agent who has a midlife crisis, sells his business, and runs off to an island paradise. Thus began a very unlikely partnership, with Buffett writing the music and lyrics, and Wouk writing the story and the dialogue. What was your reaction when your agent said that there was somebody named Jimmy Buffett who wanted to do this?
Well, I hesitate to tell you with the man here.
I can tell you, he didn't know who I was.
Did you know that Herman Wouk was still alive?
No, I did not. Well, I have to be honest about it. I had to find, it's the first thing I asked.
What happened was, actually, my son, who lives in Palm Springs, walked into the house shortly thereafter, and I said, Nate, have you ever heard of a guy named Jimmy Buffett? And he said, oh, my God, Dad. He said, Jimmy Buffett? He said, how high on Olympus can you get?
For an Olympian figure, Jimmy Buffett is the first to admit his musical talents are modest. He describes himself as just an adequate guitar player and only a fair singer.
I look at these kids that are a part of our cast now, and I don't have near the talent they do.
I'd like to have a clearer view.
When we were in casting in New York, hell, I wanted to hire everybody. I saw people so much more talented than I was. I felt so lucky to be here.
What do you consider your talents to be? I mean, do you consider
My
yourself
talent?
to be a writer? Do you consider yourself to be a promoter, a marketer, a musician?
I think I had to learn all that stuff along the way. I wanted to start out, I'm really a simple Catholic altar boy who wanted to play bass in a band to meet chicks. That's what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be the front man. But my problem was, in those days, I was responsible enough to have credit at the music store. And I had to sign my name for the PA system. And I became the leader of the band. Totally unwilling, but...
Because you had the credit.
Because I had credit at the music store and to protect my interests. From that, I had a knack for it. And I realized very early on that you had to have a sense of business to survive in entertainment.
Son of a son, son of a son.
He grew up the son of a sea captain in Mobile, Alabama, where his parents worked in the shipyard. He paid his way through the University of Southern Mississippi, playing guitar on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and graduated with a degree in journalism. He even worked as a reporter for Billboard magazine in Nashville before landing his first recording contract and drifting south to Key West. There, he mixed with marijuana smugglers, writers, and an assortment of cultural pirates. It became home base and the inspiration for his Caribbean adventures. How much of your work have you lived?
A lot of it.
Are we to assume from that you've smuggled marijuana?
No, I did not. I did not do that. I was accused of it several times and spent a few days in jail for it.
Really?
And after that, I didn't think it was very cool that I thought that was cool.
You spent a couple of days in jail?
I spent a day in jail on a French island. It was a case of misidentification. I was falsely accused of something that I did not do.
Okay, we're rolling.
And that's not the only time it's happened. Last year, on a family vacation to Jamaica, Jamaican police mistook Buffett's private plane for that of a smuggler and opened fire. No one was hurt, and Buffett got another song about his life, Jamaica Mistaken.
Come back, back to Jamaica. Don't you know we made a big mistake? We'd be so sad if you told us goodbye. And we promised not to shoot you out of the sky.
His personal life is fairly tame now. Buffett says he gets up about the time he used to go to bed. He has 3 kids, and his wife Janie keeps a pretty close eye on him. He played 30 dates across the country last year and sold out. Tickets for this West Palm Beach concert were gone 43 minutes after they went on sale. Some 1 million fans show up for his concerts each year. They typically arrive hours early and typically set up camp in the parking lot. Some bring their own beaches with them and portable generators to run the blenders. They come in all ages and all sizes. Boat owners, bartenders, lawyers, and accountants who tear off their ties, tie on grass skirts, and stick a fin on the car to spend a few hours living the life that Jimmy Buffett sings about.
It's just the Cuban cry of passion, messy and old-fashioned.
Among his fans, apparently, Bill Clinton, who asked Bethesda Naval Hospital doctors to play a Jimmy Buffett CD while they operated on the presidential knee.
People in high-pressure situations and high-pressure jobs use it as an escape.
When you say escape, escape from what?
The rigors of life.
Why escape?
Well, I think escapism is something that, if you said back to what your job is, I sell escapism.
Walk down any dock or anywhere there are palm trees, a bar, or a jar for tips, and you can hear someone slurring his lyrics.
There's some good ones and there's some really bad ones. I take it as the ultimate compliment.
It's kind of an anthem, isn't it?
It is an anthem of some sorts. It never wrote it in 6 minutes. It was just another
6
song,
minutes?
just another song going on the album. That's the way I looked at it. And then never in my wildest dream did I ever think it would do what it did. Never.
Those wild dreams may have been enough for anyone but Buffett. For him, it was just the beginning, all of which makes you wonder what drives Jimmy Buffett.
I can only say the first thing that pops into my mind is I remember years ago seeing kind of a has-been country singer working when I first moved to Nashville, working in a bar in a Holiday Inn. It was obvious that it had been somebody that had been there and come back down, and I never wanted to make that run back down. Remember me back in 1977, I had this one hit Margaritaville. I did not want to be one of those people.
7 years ago, when he thought his concert career might be winding down, Buffett had an idea. If fans would buy tickets to his concerts and buy his albums, they might buy books if he wrote them. Where is Joe Merchant and Tales from Margaritaville have both become bestsellers. When you're sitting there and you're writing this book, did you think, hey, this is pretty good? Or did you start off and say, I think I'm gonna write a best-selling book. If all of my fans buy this book, it'll be #1 in the Times bestseller list.
I thought I was a pretty fair writer. And if just my fans liked it, it'd sell 100,000 copies conservatively, And so my job was...
And 100,000 copies get you right up on the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah, that's it. The jury came in when it sold about 400,000 hardbacks, because then I knew I'd sold not just to fans. And I've met many people that liked my book that didn't know I made records. So I did a pretty good job of it.
Now Buffett is betting that his audience will buy tickets to a Jimmy Buffett musical, and the t-shirts and the mugs that say "Don't Stop the Carnival," and of course the cast album. I have this sense that someplace there is a notepad or a legal pad or a napkin with all the numbers written out, and how you can take those 1 million fans and make the money back on this production.
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, it's not rocket science.
So you sit down at the beginning and say, if I do take this thing on the road, and I get the normal Jimmy Buffett crowd, and I do the album...
Yeah. Of course I did.
Everything will work out.
Of course I did the math, Steve. It has to work out that way, but it's still a crapshoot.
Now the sugar beats bring us our freedom. With the help of our God, we got through.
Crapshoot it may be, but Jimmy Buffett's dice are hot. Don't Stop the Carnival is setting records at the Coconut Grove Playhouse in Miami, where the show's run has been extended. But Buffett and Wouk have bigger things in mind.
Well, I promised him we'd get to Broadway, so I gotta get us there.
That's his idea.
But you want to take to New York?
Oh, I'd love to, and it'll depend on the audience. Again, we're basically at the will of the audience. If they love it, I think we'll go.
And I know it's my own damn fault.
The audience always has liked Buffett's show, a fact that has not escaped some of the backers, among whom are some of the biggest theater owners on Broadway. The same people who own some of those amphitheaters that Jimmy Buffett fills every summer. Since that successful run in Miami, Buffett has put his plans to bring the musical to Broadway on hold. The result, he says, of some creative differences among himself, Herman Wouk, and potential financial backers. But the music from the show has become a new Jimmy Buffett CD, and a movie version of his first novel, Where is Joe Merchant, begins filming in the fall.